Hello, and welcome back to another tarot video. Today we are going to do another true crime reading. This one also felt like the timing was due. I'm not super familiar with this case, but I'm familiar with it enough to know that the Delphi murderer has been arrested and is looking at going to trial in the beginning of 2023. And when this first happened, I wasn't super aware of it, but as the true crime community does, they kind of picked it up and took off with it. And this has been 5 years in the making of catching this guy. The basic story is there are two young teenage girls, Abby and Libby, and it was in February. There was like a teacher in service day, and everybody else kind of had work and whatnot, but the two girls, they had the day off of school, so they had one of the older sisters drop them off at like the nearby state park, an area that people go to hike and just kind of wander around and be outside. It was kind of a mild, relatively warm day, even for being February. And so they were dropped off and were scheduled to get picked up later. Both girls had cell phones, and it was really, really odd when they went to get picked up and nobody could find them and they weren't answering their phones, and they were then reported as missing. A short time later, their deceased bodies were discovered, and the police have been really tight-lipped, as it were, surrounding the intimate details of how they were found, for good reason. And the believed murderer has been arrested recently, and everybody's got a lot to say about it. And I thought this would be a good time to connect with the girls and hear what they have to say, hear anything that is important for us to know surrounding this case and the justice being served in it, and just kind of see what happens. So we are going to work mostly with the Tarot of the Haunted House. This is going to be our main deck. I will probably pull cards from the Moonology Oracle deck, and if I feel called to it, I will pull cards from the Dark Mirror deck. But like I do in these readings, we're gonna move our cards for a second here. We're gonna start by taking our Lavender Sage smudge spray. Misting the area and taking a couple of deep breaths. The purpose of this is to relax, to calm, to ground, and to connect with the other side. I like to start off by opening up a warm and inviting space. I am here to listen, not to pry, and that any messages that they want to convey are what we're here for. So it already feels heavy in here, so I'm gonna assume that that's them coming in. I will do my disclosure. I do have the guidebook with this deck. I may use it. I try not to. So we've got our cards here, and just because of, hold on. Okay. Got our cards here. That goes upside down. We're going to start with just first impressions, initial messages. What do you need to say? Do we want to add any flyers to this? Okay. So I've noticed since I've started doing this that they like dumping just a bunch of cards, and they're always, it's crazy how many different stories you get told. But our initial message is the devil. And I don't particularly usually see the devil as a bad card, but in this instance it feels very much like the end wasn't quick for them. I think this man took his time. I think he liked preying on their suffering. And like literally there's two people here plus the devil, and a lot of the main question has been around the fact that it was two girls together that were attacked, and it's very rare that a double attack like that happens. But this feels like that was like a crucial element of this attack, was that there was two of them together. So we're going to kind of keep the devil in mind as we read this story that they've given us. So the first card we have here is the King of Swords. Yes, sorry. We have the King of Swords. So he planned this. Like he knew they were going to be there. He knew how much time they had. Like this feels methodical. It feels methodical, planned out, logical. Like he's playing chess, and the police were kind of thinking checkers. So hopefully they have really good evidence on him. Next we have the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, because the Knight is the horse. So we have the Page of Pentacles. And this is like a manifestation thing. It's interesting because there's a lot of there's two owls in this, there's two cats, there's a rat down here, there's a flower in her hands. I'm gonna come back to this one. I want to see how the rest of it goes. Because we have the Ten of Swords here, which is very obviously backstabbing. And in some ways maybe even symbolic of what happened to them. But there's a betrayal here. And then we have the Ace of Cups, which is new emotion, new feeling, new intuition. The Ace of Pentacles, new opportunities, new finance. The Two of Swords, so this is a decision, this is priorities, this is like you have two options and you have to weigh them, which feels like these two, if I'm going to be honest. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is going after money. Like this is ambition. Like you're kind of recklessly being ambitious. And we have the Knight of Cups. Like that's weird, right? Like I'm not the only one seeing this. We have the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, with this Two of Swords in between it. Our last two cards is the Five of Swords, which is again conflict and backstabbing, and then we have the Queen of Swords. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, hear me out. If Richard Allen, the man that was arrested, is the murderer, which he seems to be, literally, he's a King of Swords, then let's assume the Queen of Swords is his wife. And from my understanding of the rumblings, his wife started getting suspicious of him and is like the one that kind of tipped the police off to evidence and is the one that probably was the probable cause behind the search warrant and affidavit and arrest warrant. But we're going to put these two to the side because this is the two brackets, but this right here is interesting because this Page of Pentacles, like not only is it like a manifestation, but it's almost like a sharing of sorts. Like he wanted to share his experience with someone, and he was betrayed because there was another man in this town that everybody was kind of suspicious of, if I understand what I was hearing right. It sounds like the man who owned the property that the bodies were found on. So it was like farmland behind this state park land. Like he had some like suspicious, sketchy stuff about him that the cops really were paying a lot of attention to him in the beginning of their investigation. And I want to say I saw there was videos on YouTube of people making connections between the two men, which isn't completely hard to do in terms of like they were in a relatively small community. But I almost wonder if this is something to do with his wife and her betrayal. Because if you take these four out, well, if you take these four and group them, you have the female here in the Page of Pentacles, and then you have the female here with the Queen of Wands, plus the backstabbing here with the Five of Swords, and the betrayal here, and I can't tell if that's male or female, but the betrayal here, which seems like that happened, and then it just leaves you with this. And it's like, and if we're sticking with the men in this deck, because this is female too, but so is the devil. I'm going to pull out the guidebook. I want to read what this Page of Pentacles says. So, swords, wands, pentacles. Page of Pentacles. Which youth of earth plays with the energy of growth and manifestation? Student, curious, impressionable. Okay. So, tell me more about this. We got the Four of Cups. So, I don't know why. I like I say in the beginning of these, I am here to listen, and for whatever reason, this entire reading is about him and his wife. Because in thinking about this situation, we've got the Four of Cups, which is distance. We've got the Five of Cups, which is insecurity. We've got the King of Pentacles, which again is another man. And we've got all this pentacle and cup energy here. And then we have the moon. Like she was forced to decide what it feels like is to either keep I don't know, this manifestation is really weird. But for whatever reason, like she was forced to decide to either keep his secret and give him a fresh start, or she could essentially throw him under the bus, probably get reward money, and feel good about herself. Because whatever has been happening, he's been more distant. He's been neglecting her emotional needs. He's her breadwinner, is essentially how this card feels. Like he's kind of providing this financial aspect, but she doesn't have to worry about that if she like gets reward money for turning him in. And the moon is kind of like revealing lies, revealing the truth. Like she just kind of got sick of all this shit. And this combination here feels kind of like he was betrayed by his manifestation. Like that's kind of been his downfall of like he's held on to these thoughts for so long that he finally acted upon them, he finally created, he finally manifested it. Um, and that's kind of been like the conflict, the major matter that started this domino effect and kind of ended up with like her feeling betrayed and having to make a decision. Um, so 100% wife is responsible for um, turning him in. Is there any other things you guys would like to share with us, or any messages you would leave behind? And interesting enough, we got two cards. Our first card is a Seven of Cups, and our second card is an Eight of Cups. This definitely feels like a follow your dreams. There's still a lot of things, happening and going on. Like life hasn't ended, but also like we don't have to hold on to this anymore. Like it's going to reach justice, and it's okay to let go and move forward. And I found I had similar messages from Lacey, and I've heard similar messages from other mediums along the lines of like when the dead have passed on, like they're not upset like we are. And a lot of people and a lot of families who are grieving, it's very hard to move on and move forward when that feels like you're betraying those that have passed on. And that's not true, because they get to live vicariously through us until their cycle is done and they choose to reincarnate. But like a lot of people talk about the fact that they were just so young and they had so much of their lives in front of them yet that they never got to experience. And that is painful, and it's hard to talk about. But getting these two cards, one side by side, which means, of course, they're here together and they're with each other. Not only are they both cups cards, which is just that like youthful sort of innocence, like they're in their emotions, they're in their intuition. They're ascending, to be able to kind of tell us like it's okay, like there's options in front of you, there's opportunities in front of you, like don't stop dreaming, don't stop hoping for the best, but also like it's okay to move on when it's time to move on. And I think that's very mature of them. And I'm very satisfied with this reading. I'm very satisfied with this information. And I'm going to do a couple of moonology cards just to see if there's anything else. Last messages, last oracle you want to say. So, everybody always sees their own messages in these cards. So definitely, tell me what you see. But this one I know throws some people off, so we're gonna go through this together. So first we have the end of a tough cycle approaches, and I think we're here. We're here. We're here. We're here. He's been arrested, and you know a lot of things can happen between now and then. We have the nothing will come of this situation. And I think what this is definitely referring to, especially with this new moon Aquarius, bring love into the situation right after in the purples that match here, is despite whatever justice this man may receive in court, it will not bring them back. And the bring love into this situation means that those who are grieving need to grieve, but they also need to remember that the girls were loved, they knew that they were loved, that those girls loved many people and still do, that they are there for those people, and that they are not alone, they are not suffering, they are in a good place. But this feels just like a reiteration of like this, it's okay to move on, it's okay to move forward sort of message of, we can persecute this man all we want for what he's done, and trust me, he will be persecuted. People are already doing it, but that's not going to change what's happened to them, and that's a very hard reality for people, especially those that are close to the situation, to accept. In some ways, I worry about this wife potentially being unfairly drawn into this situation, and I hope she gets the love and support that she needs and she deserves. I do think it was very brave of her to come forward and actually turn him in, because she very easily could have not have. But she weighed this decision, and he wasn't worth it. Sure, he was providing some level of financial security, but the rest of this emotional distance and lack of care, it wasn't worth it anymore. And it sucks that it took this long to uncover this, but at the same time, it does feel like it was bound to happen. And at the end of the day, if it is her, I'm appreciative that she came forward. So that is our reading today on the Delphi murder case of Abby and Libby. I'm going to release them now from this reading. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing your messages with me. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this reading, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you again next time. Until then, take care of yourself. See you. Bye.